All right. Hello. Hello, everybody. I think we are live, and welcome. Welcome yourselves to another episode of GodSaw's Turnbuckle, the wrestling video podcast I run over here on youtube.com/UC Campbell. This is under channel name GodSaw, based off of my FGC nickname and everything to go along with that, just to kind of throw that one back out there. On that side of everything. Before we really get into everything here, with how about the whole situation and what we're mainly going to be talking about, obviously I'm just going to go over a few other things here for people maybe who do follow the channel. It's been a little bit of a slow week, haven't really been putting out videos, been kind of following the situation that's been going on as well, but for other news outside of, outside of what has been going on in WWE, obviously tonight is Bound for Glory. So Impact Wrestling has been getting a lot of headway recently about being really good, and Bound for Glory is tonight, so hopefully people will be tuning in for that on that side of everything. And they do have a pretty good card on their own, by their own right as well. So I know the main event of the night is going to be Johnny Impact going up against, or Johnny Mundo, or Johnny Nitro, or John Morrison, whatever you want to call them, going up against Austin Aries for the Impact World title. So that should be a really good match. You do have what they call a Concrete Jungle match, which is going to be which will be OVE going up against LAX for their tag team titles. Tessa Blanchard going up against Taya Valkyrie for the Knockouts title. And they do have some other really good matches on there as well. It should be a very interesting or it should be a very interesting show. Maybe I'll have a chance to check it out for anybody else who will be tuning in. I hope you guys enjoy it. It seems like Impact's been doing really well recently in the terms of their storylines, in the terms of their content, or in the terms of like their actual their show ratings and everything. It hasn't been doing so hot, and apparently they're getting moved to 10 o'clock Eastern time for Pop TV here very soon as well, so it's not looking so good on that side for them to go along with it, though I mean on West Coast time that means they'll be good. They'll be okay, because Pop doesn't necessarily run off of an East Coast or a West Coast feed. They just have their main feed, which is fully live. So for people who watch on the West Coast, it will now be airing at 8 p.m. instead of like 5 or 6 to go along with it. So I guess that's not so bad on that side. Or it'll be like 8 p.m. Yeah, it'll be 8 p.m. now on that side. So West Coast side, it's not so bad, but now East Coast side, if you're an East Coast watcher, now it's going to be, you'll be up till midnight watching the show if you're going to watch it live, or if you're going to, or I guess you might watch it later if you're DVRing it or something to go along with it. But yeah, that's what we've got going on with Impact side. They have Bound for Glory tonight. Like I said, for this week in general, it's been kind of slow on the channel. I'm going to try to up that game here a little bit. You might be seeing a little bit more content coming in, and you're going to see a little bit of a change of content as well, because should I, or do I want to hold off on it? Do I want to hold off on talking about this anymore? Do I really? No, I don't. I don't really want to hold off on talking about this anymore, because I do want to talk about it. And if you know me on this channel, if you know me in general, the one thing I don't like to talk about, especially with content like this, because the whole thing about this, and here's the beautiful thing about this, about the channel I have and what I've got, and for the, for anybody who does want to watch later, or for the people who watch live, for the few people that do watch live, for the few people that watch later. I'm not a big channel by any stretch of the imagination. I don't get paid to do this in any way, shape, or form. I don't, as of now, I don't have monetization on the channel, anything to go along with it. I can kind of do as I feel and as I want. with everything. And that's the beautiful thing about my channel at this point in time, because it's not my main source of income to go along with everything. So that's going to kind of come into play a little bit later with what I'm talking about on that side of everything. But if you know me in general, the one thing I don't really want to bring to this, because I want this to be about fun and talking about wrestling, especially with a podcast, talking about wrestling and talking about the things that I like and enjoy and everything to go along with it. Well, it's not meant to really be taken fully seriously with how things really go on this channel. But obviously when when something goes down that revolves around politics and it does affect it, now you got to kind of talk about it. And that's what we're going to be talking about. So I would imagine for people who have been kind of following everything throughout the week about the Washington Post journalist who had moved here from Saudi Arabia, I believe, his name is Jamal Kakashi, I believe. I'm sorry if I butchered the name because I'm horrible with names. But Kakashi moved here a year ago. He was a citizen of Saudi Arabia. He was a vocal person against the current regime in Saudi Arabia, the current crown prince, everything to go along with that. And he was in fearing of his life over there, because obviously they don't have the same rights as we do here in America. In terms of freedom of press, freedom of a lot of different freedoms. They don't necessarily have those. So he moved over here and became a permanent resident and was also working with the Washington Post. So he had entered into a Saudi Arabia consulate in Turkey recently. If you really know anything about that as well, they're not big friends with each other. Turkey and Saudi Arabia, they're not massive friends with each other either, to go along with that. So I think it was October the 2nd, because they had made mention that he had been missing for quite a bit of time when the news story came out and everything for this. He walked in there to apparently get divorce papers to divorce his wife that he had in Saudi Arabia, who wasn't going to come with him over to America. And so he could also marry his new fiancée to go along with it. He was going to go there to get those papers and everything to go along on that side of everything. He walked into this consulate in Turkey and never came out. There is no footage of him coming out. And there is a lot of speculation going on, and there's a lot of speculation and allegations going on. Nothing is fully finalized yet, though there is a lot of evidence saying that this guy was killed, and Kakashi was killed, and he was also it was also ordered by the Saudi Arabian government to go along with it. There's a decent amount of evidence to go along with that, all circumstantial at this point in time, to go along with everything on that side of it. So and there's a lot of like I said, there's a lot of rumors, and there's a lot of particular evidence, again, still circumstantial, but also evidence that could be quite revealing as well, saying that, hey, they did this. They did do this. And it's one of those things that it's absolutely disgusting, really. Let's be 100% honest with it. It is 100% disgusting on that side, especially with how they said the potential things went down, that there was even a potential of a bone saw being used to dismember the body and everything. And at this point in time, we don't necessarily have a body, and well, we probably know why that happened, if that happened on that side. Again, I do have to reiterate that to a certain degree, it's still allegations to go along with it. And it's one of those bits that like I said, absolutely disgusting to go along with it. But if you really take a look at it, in that sense of everything, he was a journalist that was against them on that side of everything. And there's also a rumor that potential video and audio have been recorded of this through his Apple Watch, and apparently was I guess when everything was done, because I guess he was expecting something to happen, so he hit the record button going in and everything. And there's this potential chance that there is video evidence and audio evidence of him getting killed inside of the consulate there in Turkey. And like I said, it's one of those bits that you know what Saudi Arabia has been necessarily doing. We kind of saw it a little bit with Greatest Royal Rumble when they had to air that video package about what, you know, Saudi Arabia trying to change their views and everything. This does not help. This will not help them in any way, shape, or form. And if the allegations are absolutely 100% true, I don't think it will ever. I don't think anybody will ever really give it a chance. At least not for a very, very long time, or until a completely different regime would be in there again on that side of everything. And there's a lot of other political stuff that's been going on. Obviously, you've gotten stuff from Trump and from senators and everything that go along with that. Obviously, what does this mean in the terms of WWE side? Well, you kind of know what that means. It's not an aspect that they're going over to Saudi Arabia to do a show. It's who brought them over there to do a show. It's their government. WWE, with the Greatest Royal Rumble, with Crown Jewel, was supposed to go over to Saudi Arabia. The government paid them to go over there. So it's not an aspect that they're going over there. It's an aspect that who they're in business with right now. On that side of everything. And there's some interesting stuff that has come out today, that being Sunday and everything, to go along with it, that may indicate that changes are coming to go along with that. But I am on the full boat of this one as well. And in the terms for the company, for the terms of WWE as a whole, this kind of sucks for them, because they're supposed to be kind of celebrating a lot of different things. Evolution's coming up. They have this big show, and they're making a good chunk of money of revenue for, you know, this would be good for stockholders and everything on that side. This is kind of a time that they should have been celebrating, and then a story like this comes out. And let's be completely honest with everything. It needs to go. The show needs to go, at least be moved in some way, shape, or form to go along with it. I'm on that boat. It does not need to air there on that side, if the show needs to air at all. There is a lot of rumors that this show is going to be canceled in some way, shape, or form. There's a lot of interesting things on WWE.com at this very moment to go along with it on that side of everything. A lot of rumors are going about. There's a apparent backup plan that, guess what? Some of these matches that were going to be, that they were promoting for the Saudi Arabia show, may be promoted for Survivor Series now. These might be Survivor Series shows. There's also another rumor going out there that maybe this is going to get moved to the UK. They are going to be doing a UK tour a little bit they were supposed to be doing a UK tour right after this show. There's a chance that they could extend it and take it over there to go along with it, which would be an interesting aspect and an interesting change to go along with everything. The WWE itself has the only statement that they ever released about this publicly, a public statement on that side, is that they are monitoring the situation, which can mean a lot of different things. Can mean a lot of different things on that side of everything. And it's one of those bits that it could mean that it's like, okay, we're just going to see if this is going to get swept under the rug, or if it's going to gain steam, or if it's just something like that. Or it's like, are they really waiting for full proof or anything to go along with that. And the other crazy, and I may mention to this, saying that the show itself should be canceled in every facet of the word, but the one thing that I have not really fully said about this is, what is the nature of this deal? It was supposed to be a 10-year deal with Saudi Arabia, and WWE taking shows over to Saudi Arabia. So what is the nature of that deal? And does WWE have out clauses for events like this? Events like this in general. And it's one of those things of, do they have an out clause, or are they forced to go over there? Are they going to be forced to show another video package if they do go over there as well, and the show doesn't get canceled or moved or whatever ends out happening? What is that nature of the deal? Is it going to be put on pause now? Is it not going to be put on pause? Or they have to keep going because guess what? There was no type of clause that allowed for WWE to get out of this. It's a risk that they took getting into this deal, and is it something that they thought about beforehand, is one of the things about that. So that's one thing that we have to take in consideration, is what is the nature of the deal? We don't know. That we don't know. My thought process is still the same. I feel like this show should be canceled, should not be airing over there in any way, shape, or form. I mean, you're promoting it as very heavy hitting. You're supposed to have this World Cup to go along with everything, though it's kind of weird that most of the people that have qualified for it are American. Not very World Cuppy to go along with it, but the people that have been put in it so far, I mean, take a look at the names. You have John Cena, you had Randy Orton, you had Kurt Angle, and Jeff Hardy. And they're apparently they're still advertising for matches for World Cup throughout the week as well. You have at least one on SmackDown, and you have two coming up for Raw over the next day or so to go along with that. So they're still promoting that the event is going down. This is the interesting thing and the interesting piece of news that not too many people really recognize. And you can kind of still go over to WWE.com on this one as well. I checked it about 15 to 20 minutes before coming on the air myself, just to see what was going on with this. So here's the aspect of something that you kind of recognize, and I won't fully, you can kind of look for it yourself on this one. I won't necessarily show it on here because it requires a little bit other controls and everything to go along with it that I don't necessarily want to have to keep going through at the moment. But if you take a look at the shows and tickets section of WWE.com, they go through wherever they're going to be. There's a picture of the logo, what's going to be there, and everything like that. Let's just say we'll go ahead and make the a very easy comparison to this one. Evolution. If you scroll down to October 28th, you have Evolution there. It has a picture of the logo of Evolution, and then it has WWE Evolution. It says where it's from, and then it gives you tabs, and it gives you like a date, and or it doesn't necessarily give you a date, but it gives you the time that's going to be starting. It's going to be where it's at, and then down below it has a tab for tickets that'll go along with it. And that's reads exactly as it is. Exactly as it is right there. If you scroll down a little bit further on this one, they do have WWE Crown Jewel still on the website, but there's an interesting little thing about it. They still have the date and time, which they say noon for that particular one. But there is no mention to where, and there's no ticket tab as well. Now, granted, that would probably be something for the U.S. side, that we wouldn't see a ticket tab because not many people would be traveling to go over there for a show like that. At least I imagine some people might do it, but not many would do that. But if you take a look at the UK shows as well, that they actually have tabs for tickets and everything to go along with it. But also the other interesting facet of it is that they have removed the picture of the Crown Jewel logo. The picture itself, at least for the time being, like I said, I'm about 20 minutes into this, and I checked it about 20 minutes before going on the air. I guess, you know what, just to do it, I'll go back over there. So it says tickets and events. You just click on that. And then you start scrolling down, all that fun jazz. So, oh, you see, like, I wish I had this on the actual thing, but I'm not fully familiarized with how to get that on there and everything. Let's see if I can get it on there while we're doing this live. Add a source. Video? No, that's not it. Don't want screen monitor capture. Desktop 1. There we go. Ah, there we go. See? Boom, look at that. I don't know how that's gonna... Let's move you over here. There we go. Let's move that thing over here for you guys. So, as you can see, there you go. Look at this. See, little logos, little everything. For everything over here. On that side of everything. So, you have logos, you have the dates, and you don't necessarily... Well, you do have the times. They're over here. And then you have more details, tickets, all that fun jazz. So, here, like I said, with Evolution, has everything right there. And then, of course, tickets, and they'll even show VIP tickets for ones that are there. But let's scroll down to the Crown Jewel. See if it's changed. Oh, it hasn't. So this is what it shows for Crown Jewel right now. It's interesting to note with Crown Jewel that it still says WWE Crown Jewel. It says Friday, November 2nd, 7 p.m. I guess that would mean that particular time or something like that. And then it just has more details. But take a look at everything here. Logos, everything to go along with it. Logos for Raw, logos for Evolution, WWE Live, NXT, SmackDown, just a WWE logo for the meet and greet that they have in Atlanta. What's the picture they have over here for Crown Jewel? It's just a picture of Roman. And Roman, Braun, and Brock for the Universal title. Let's see how this works with the American websites as well. See, even let's look at this. They don't even have the ticket tab or anything what they're mentioning where it's going to be at this point in time. But even for a show in Spain here on an American website, it shows a thing to get tickets and everything around there. So guess what? It's like one of those guess what bits. Something's going down. Something is going down completely at this point in time. Let's go ahead and remove this. Let's go ahead and remove this. Get back to this. And let's get my face off of here. Off the screen, because or off of that portion of the screen. And like I said, it makes you think that something's going down. I follow under the suit of, as I'm getting everything kind of set back up again, on my proper side of everything. It makes you wonder that's some kind of announcement's going to go down, or they just don't want to promote that they're going over there, which I don't blame them on that one, on that side of everything. But it makes you feel like either a change is going to happen, the event's still going to happen, but a change in venue or a change in something is going to happen here very soon. And who knows where that's going to go. But it leads me to believe that some kind of change is going to be taking place. There's also been a lot of rumor and speculation going out there that this could be a behind-the-scenes thing or something like that, but I think it was Brian Alvarez that was reporting that apparently a lot of the WWE superstars, especially with everything that's going down, don't even want to go over there at this point in time. Maybe for fear of safety, fear for anything. They just don't want to go over there, which I don't blame them. on that side of everything. And it really brings up the whole aspect again. Do you think it should be canceled? Yeah, I do. I do. And I think WWE itself should probably cancel the show at the least. Or if they're going to move it and it still airs, then okay, that's fine too, to go along with it. But it should not be happening over there, because WWE, let's take a look at it. It's been 10 years. 10 years since the whole incident with Chris Benoit, to go along with it. And they've kind of dug themselves out of that PR nightmare that was that, to go along with it. The way they've imaged the company and everything to go along with it, they kind of dug themselves out of that hole. And I think in this case, instead of taking the money and just like hoping for the best, to think about public image might be their best option, instead of just, hey, here's a bunch of revenue, but now your image throughout the entire country or throughout whatever in the terms of public image is now tarnished because of everything that's going on. Again, I still have to say that it is fully alleged, but 2 and 2 together, they make 4. 2 and 2 together, they make 4 on that one, and things are leading not so good to what was of what is being alleged that the Saudi government had done here on that side of everything. So, like I said before, I feel like one of 2 things. Either it's outright canceled and you move these matches to Survivor Series. We have Survivor Series now. Or the event still runs, but it gets moved. I'm going to leave it at this, because WWE, as of this moment, has not announced anything. They haven't announced anything quite yet on that side. But they, like I said, this brings me back to a point of mentioning before what I can do with this channel. I can literally do whatever I want with it at this point in time. It's not my source of income. It's not my way of going. And trust me, for people who are, if this show does air in Saudi Arabia on that one, and people are going to cover it, completely understandable, especially for podcasters that this is their way of living. This is the way of feeding their families. Anything to go along with that. There are certain podcasts out there that I know that that's their income to go along with it. I would completely understand them doing something about it. And what was it? Even the making mention of Going in Raw, which is a podcast I watch as well, that they are making mention that they're going to come up with some kind of charitable thing, because they've got, as their way of living, they do have to cover the show on that side of everything. And, you know, they do live reactions, they get super chats, everything like that. But apparently they're going to take things like their super chats like that and potentially do another charity thing to go along with it on that side, just like they did with the Greatest Royal Rumble. That's good stuff. I like that. I like that side of everything on there. The way that things look like right now, based off of what I've been seeing today, that something is going to probably be announced as early as tomorrow, of whether or not this show is going to air over there, or if it's going to air elsewhere, or if it's going to happen at all to go along with it. So that, again, it brings it up to a point of what I'm going to be doing with this channel. I'm not going to fall under the same boat of some people. I'm not going to go out there and say that I'm going to cancel my WWE Network subscription. I'm not going to cover them anymore. Though there's great independent promotions to cover as well, which I need to fully get into as well, which we can down the line on that side of everything. I'm not going to go about that boat, mainly because, yes, by taking away a network subscription, it does take money out of the company's pocket. And they're not going to be, or if I decide to also say, it's like, well, if they're going to air this over there, I'm not going to be watching anymore. Okay, that takes a viewer away. And obviously there's going to be people that are going to be like that, and that's completely understandable on their side as well. I understand that, to go along with it. For me personally, my decision on this one is that, no, I'm not going to get rid of my WWE Network subscription. There's too much there that I like. There's too much on there that I like. Mae Young Classic, NXT. You have NXT UK that's going to be starting to air on Wednesdays now, with everything to go along with it. I do catch 205 Live from time to time as well. There's a lot of things that are really good there. And I don't want to get rid of that. And but also I fall under the aspect of, is like, yeah, if I take the network subscription away, I hurt the company a little bit. And obviously it can go on that side of everything. I feel like this is one where you're getting a lot of people from Senate and Congress and everything on both sides, both Republican and Democrat, saying is like, no, I think you guys should start doing this. I feel like that pressure is going on as well to go along with it, and that might be constituting a change of some kind on that side, much like with the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal. The people who were outraged went to a sponsor. Guess what? It got changed. Government might be pressuring WWE not to go over there. This might change. But as of right now, since it's not changed, my decision on the channel is that I'm going to still cover WWE. Things like Evolution, Survivor Series, things like that for the time being. This can obviously change if changes do occur as well. But for the time being on this channel, when it comes to WWE programming, I might not even talk about the stuff that happens on Raw to promote the actual show itself. To go along with it, we may just be talking about certain snippets of Raw, SmackDown, and everything on that side. I'm not going to cover Crown Jewel. Period. That is how I'm going to be on this particular one. It's a little proactive instead of reacting to something that's fully out there. But in this case, I'm going to play the more proactive side. I'm not going to cover Crown Jewel in any way, shape, or form. There's not going to be a live reaction show. There's not going to be a review of the show. Matter of fact, as of this moment, I'm not going to watch the show, period. That's how I'm going to go on this one. And I will probably refuse to watch this show from here on in. And that would make officially, in the senses of wrestling pay-per-views, 3 shows that I absolutely refuse to watch. The other 2 are for completely different reasons to go along with it. All of them kind of in the terms of tragic reasons to go on that side of everything as well. As a matter of fact, I'll go off and just throw them out there. It will be the Over the Edge 1999 pay-per-view. I've never watched it and refused to ever watch it because, well, Owen Hart. The Owen Hart situation on that one. The Night of Champions pay-per-view of right as everything was going down with Chris Benoit. I have seen that show and I refuse to ever watch it again because it's one of those bits that the crowd didn't know what was going on at the time. And I don't think anybody, well, no one knew what was going on at the time. But Chris Benoit was supposed to be on the show. Did not show, and they were chanting "We want Benoit" during the ECW title match, which is what he was supposed to be in. So I refused to watch that show for just the bad vibes, not good vibes of everything on that side of everything for it. And then, of course, with this whole situation that's going down here, straight up. For all for tragic reasons, on that sense, because it's tragedy that would have that happened to this Kakashi guy, to this journalist and everything, and yeah, for the time being, unless of it gets moved or canceled or whatever it is, I'm just gonna refuse to watch it, refuse to cover it in any way, shape, or form. Matter of fact, like I said, we probably won't even talk about the portions of Raw and SmackDown that were part of it. So that is that rant. That is that rant there. Like I said, when it comes to talking about things on this podcast and everything to go along with it, I like to stay away from politics, but obviously with this whole Saudi Arabia deal, everything to go along with it, you can't avoid it. You cannot avoid it on that side of everything. I want this to always be about fun, but sometimes you got to be a little bit serious when it comes down to it as well. This, like I said, from here on in, it will probably be all about the fun and everything to go along with it. So that is everything that I've thought about. I hope I conveyed my words properly, and I conveyed everything respectfully enough to go along with that. It's hard to talk about that because you can kind of come off a little bit differently when you're talking about political stuff or anything that's going down in terms of world events like that. But that's my thoughts on it. That's how I feel, and that's what I'm going to end up doing about it. Like I said, I'm in a good spot on this channel because I don't make a living off of this. I can kind of do as I feel, and I can kind of say as I feel to a certain degree, and that's how it should always be, even if you are getting monetized for these channels. And I see it, and that's why I end out liking a lot of particular channels and a lot of particular podcasts, particularly why I like Going in Raw, Solid Monster Sounds Off, what is it, Something to Wrestle With, things like that. I absolutely love those channels, and I love how they do everything because they speak their minds, and they don't, it's not an aspect that they don't care about ramification, but they speak their mind and they speak truthfully how they feel, and that's how I want to be as well. And the factor that I don't have to worry about, like for them, obviously they have to worry about their own thing. For some of them, that's not their necessarily way of income or anything to go along with it. On that side of everything as well, it's one of those bits of things that I like about the channel where it's at right now, is that it's something I don't have to worry about. I can say as I feel, and hopefully if the channel did ever grow to being something completely different, I can continue to do things like this and continue to do things this way and not have to sit there and it's like, do I want to talk about this because it might hurt monetization, it might do this, it might, I don't want things that be like that. I do things like this as well to have fun, and I do things like this for the people who do watch as well, for the people who do watch everything here. I know it's quite it's just a few people, it's not much, but I hope for the people who do enjoy my stuff, it's like, that's what I convey how I feel on that side of everything, to go along with it. World events in certain senses suck on that side, but this is one of those things that needed to be talked about, and I needed to at least convey myself honestly and how I feel at that time, to go along with it. So hopefully I conveyed myself that way. Like I said, absolutely disgusted by the news events that have been going on this week. Not just that, but also with Hurricane Michael as well, that had been going through Florida and through Georgia and the Carolinas and is now back out in the Atlantic Ocean. Hopefully people who are out there as well are doing okay. I know it hit pretty hard in Florida and in certain areas of Georgia and the Carolinas to go along with it. Hopefully people who are staying there are, you know, they're in a good place. People, I've been noticing there's been a lot of people getting out there and helping and everything to go along with that. So that's always good to see as well. People donating water, everything to go along with that. Those are always good things as well. So hopefully everybody out there as well with the hurricane is going okay as well. So now that we've gotten ourselves away from this, it's like, now that we're getting ourselves away from this and everything to go along with it, let's go into the portions of Monday Night Raw that I am going to talk about. And let's be honest, I'll be completely honest, even the ones that were promoting even the segments outside of the ones that were promoting the upcoming show in Saudi Arabia, I thought was actually a very good show to go along with it. On that side, I thought Monday Night Raw was actually a very good show. They did perform a double turn with Bobby Lashley and Kevin Owens, which I thought was a really good way of going. And Kevin Owens, in that sense of everything, like they had Lio Rush out there on the microphone the entire time. And this guy was doing a great job of just annoying the crap out of the fans. I thought they were going to go with this whole aspect of them still being face and everything, but they decided to take a full turn on this one. And they kind of turned Kevin Owens babyface to go along with it. He was wrestling as a babyface, pulling out babyface style moves, everything to go along with it. Lashley working as a heel throughout the entire time. Lio Rush trying to get the crowd hyped up for Lashley, but obviously ended up booing him in the end. And with Lashley going over in the end as well. And then also to continually solidify that he is a full heel in this one, he decided to attack Kevin Owens again and destroyed his knee with a ring post, which also leads to the infamous, or the bad news on this one, that Kevin Owens is going to be out anywhere from about 3 to 8 months after going off of knee surgery to go along with it. So this was also their way of writing him off TV for a little while as well. Hopefully it's on the lighter end. It's not like a super major injury, and he won't be out for that long to go along with it, as we all hope for every injury. It's not going to be for long that he'll be out. And it's one of those things on that side. Like I said, I felt like they did a good job of making a double turn here, because Kevin Owens definitely worked as the babyface. Crowd was way behind him. I mean, I know the crowd, in the sense, was always behind him in the sense of always cheering him and everything, but it was one of those, it felt different because of the way Lashley was working, and they were booing him and everything to go along with that as well, because it wasn't like they were booing him right away. It was just continually going throughout the match. And to solidify it a little bit more, afterwards, they interrupted a Bayley and Finn Balor interview, which they were talking about having their rematch with Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox, and they continually just like downgraded all of them. So it makes you feel like that Finn and Lashley are going to be coming up at some point in time as well. You also had Ronda Rousey and the Bella Twins going up against the Riot Squad, which I thought was an okay match. It wasn't anything great by any stretch of the imagination. I did like the beginning of the match that they played off of the whole thing with Liv Morgan and Brie Bella, where they kind of started brawling. They got pulled apart and everything. Made it feel like they were going off script a little bit, but they weren't. I liked how they played that off of that and everything. Ronda and the Bellas win the match. After the match, Nikki Bella and Brie Bella both attack Ronda Rousey. Ronda fights back a little bit, but then gets, beaten down because of the numbers and everything that go on that side. Guess what? The Bellas are heel again, and that's how they probably work best. Let's be honest with that one. That's how they work best, is with them being heels and everything to go along with it. Go along with this side. It leads into what a lot of people were expecting for Evolution was going to be Nikki Bella going up against Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's title, which is the case here. And they're not going to go a whole aspect of respect and babyface versus babyface. They're going heel babyface. And the Bellas do honestly work out better as heels in this sense. I thought that was pretty good. You also had Finn Balor and Bayley going up against Alicia Fox and Jinder Mahal. I thought this was a decent match. It was interesting that they brought the mixed match challenge matches into this particular show. On that one, I thought they were going to keep them, like, they were going to have them kind of interact with each other a little bit, but not actually doing the matches on the show in some way, shape, or form, though they had already done it before. I thought this was a decent fare. I thought they did a decent go of everything. I thought they showed some really good stuff in this particular match for Finn and Bayley, and then also Alicia and Jinder. They are continuing this whole aspect of Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox, where you have Jinder kind of doing the whole Shanti thing, and Alicia is just having none of it. she's pretending she's having all of it, but then she just starts berating Sunil Singh at all times, everything to go along with that. And of course, in this one, Finn Balor and Bayley ended up picking up the victory. You also had Ember Moon going up against Nia Jax, which I thought was a decent match. Nia Jax ran really hard into the LED board to cause the countout. Ember Moon ended up picking up the victory via countout. They ended up hugging it in the end. You kind of felt like a turn was coming, but nothing really came of it on that side of everything. So that was an interesting little bit there. You did have some stuff with Dolph, Drew, and Braun. Kind of a dissension of, you know, Drew kind of showing some disdain towards Dolph finally, where maybe a turn could be coming on that one. They've obviously been playing it off and telegraphing it really hard with Dean Ambrose on that side of everything to go along with it. But you're kind of seeing that dissension here, and then of course Braun's like, he's tired of the excuses from both of them, and that the only reason why that either of them are with him is because they're going to help him get the Universal title to go along with it. I thought this was some good stuff. The main event was really good as well. You also have Bobby Roode and Chad Gable going up against the Ascension. Again, on that side of everything. We'll just go with that on that one. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable go over in this match. I thought it was a decent match. Roode was not happy about the blind tag because they did do that again, where it looked like Bobby Roode was going to pick up the victory, but Chad Gable blind tags himself in, does the Chaos Theory German suplex to pick up the victory. After the match, the only main difference on this one is that the AOP came in and basically destroyed everybody on this one, which I guess that works. I guess that works in this sense. They just run in there and destroy everything and everyone on that to go along with it. And then, of course, the main event, The Shield, going up against Braun Strowman, Drew McIntyre, and Dolph Ziggler. Again, you saw a bit of that dissension. I thought this was a very good match. McIntyre picked up the victory over Dean Ambrose, while Dean Ambrose ends out leaving Seth and Roman after the match, where it looked like they were going to, be together. Dean just left, walked up the rampway, and was gone. Nothing more on that one. Like I said, they've been kind of telegraphing the whole aspect of this whole aspect of Dean Ambrose turning on the Shield coming at some point in time to go along with it. So that was playing off of that a little bit more as well. We also got that decent dissension as well of the entire side of Dolph, Braun, and Drew as well to go along with it. So that is beginning to happen. So we're seeing storylines going there, everything to go along with that. And we'll see how those end up turning out down the line as well. Now, as for SmackDown, as like I said, we're going to be skipping all the Crown Jewel stuff. So we're not going to talk about the qualifying matches or anything to go along with that. That's the only mention I'm really going to make of those for SmackDown on October the 9th of 2018. Which is kind of sad we're not going to be talking about those, because I thought it was a good show. Again, I thought SmackDown was a good show. But you got but also like the stuff we can talk about I thought was really good as well. Aiden English did do more with the one night in Milwaukee thing that they have been doing with them. They showed a more extended video. Initially, Aiden was like, I'll only show the rest of the video until Rusev comes out, then shows a little bit more, making it look like, okay, is Lana actually cheating on Rusev? And then Lana was basically, Lana played off the whole aspect of someone hacked Aiden to get the full video, and then they show where she turns him down, everything to go along with that. Aiden had been caught, everything to go along that side. He acted great about it. I thought this was good stuff to go along with that. They began the show with the SmackDown Women's title match, which it seems a little bit weird because it could have been the main event, but if you really think about it, a little bit later, you did have Charlotte in a mixed match challenge match, and with everything that they did in this match, I'm not shocked on why this match actually started the show versus happening later in it to go along with it. Again, very, very good match from both of them. I thoroughly enjoy the matches that we're getting from Charlotte and Becky. At this point in time, they did a good job here. They're obviously extending this feud to go into Evolution. It ends in a double countout. If Becky would have lost by disqualification, she would have lost the title, but she lost, or there was a double countout, so there's no title change or anything to go along with that. They continued to brawl throughout the after the match to go along with it, ending with Charlotte spearing Becky Lynch into the LED lights for the staging and everything. And it messed up her arm a little bit too. Like you can see with the wrist and a little bit cut up elsewhere to go along with it. You saw it even later with the mixed match challenge that she had everything wrapped up from messing up her arm in those particular on that particular spot. It looked great on that side of everything, and we are going to get the rematch at Evolution for Becky Lynch and Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title, obviously with a stipulation, and they did name that stipulation being a last woman standing match. Yes, they are going to do that style of match for this one. It fits this program perfectly. It really does. It fits the program perfectly for them to have a last woman standing match, and it should be a very good affair. Let's see what they decide to do with this particular style match. If you watch the Nikki Cross Asuka match that was last woman standing in NXT, you could see what they did. You could see how they did there, and what they have to live up to on that side to produce a really good match out of that. But it should be interesting to see what Becky and Charlotte's take on it is going to be, and it should be a very good match at Evolution. Honestly, I think it will be. They've been delivering really well. So this leads us into the Mixed Match Challenge. So the Mixed Match Challenge this week, as usual, they're doing one Raw, one SmackDown match. You had Bayley and Finn Balor going up against Ember Moon and Braun Strowman. I thought this was a pretty good match. No crazy, overly quirky things happened. I thought it was just a solidly good match between between both teams, with them continually showing the teamwork that Finn and Bayley are doing, as you know, they as everything that they've kind of, you know, said they're good friends, everything to go along with that. So they actually worked well as a team, everything to go along with that in this one. They do come up short in this one. The ending of the match saw Bayley do a crossbody off the stairs to Ember Moon on the outside, but then Finn Balor gets hit with a power slam to pick up the victory for both Braun Strowman and Ember Moon in this one. I thought it was a good match. Overall, I thought it was a good match, and honestly, I do enjoy the Mixed Match Challenge. It is a very easy watch throughout the week. The final match of the night was Carmella and R-Truth going up against Charlotte and AJ Styles. This one they had a little bit more fun with. You could kind of tell, in all of the matches, honestly, that they loosen up a little bit and they're having a little bit more fun with everything. But you could definitely tell in this one, they even did a dance break towards there, where everybody was doing some kind of dance move. You had R-Truth, Carmella, and then Charlotte all do the splits, and then AJ had to try, and of course failed on that particular one. Fun things like that. It does eventually end with AJ and Charlotte picking up the victory, and what I thought was a fun match. And honestly, this whole thing with R-Truth and Carmella is great as well. I actually am enjoying that pairing, and it comes off really good. So again, Mixed Match Challenge, another fun week of that one. I do enjoy it. I actually do on that side of everything. So this leads us to WWE NXT that aired on what was it, on Wednesday as well, the 10th of October. And again, another fun show of NXT. Nothing too crazy much to talk about on this one. The big talking point in the terms of storyline is definitely the whole thing with Aleister Black and the roles that other people are playing in it. So Tommaso Ciampa started the show. He's starting to cut a promo on Velveteen Dream. He's not happy about him being accused again for attacking Aleister Black. This causes Velveteen Dream to interrupt. And Velveteen Dream is coming out, you know, he says he thinks the title's on the wrong person, everything to go along with that, makes a derogatory comment towards Tommaso, which kind of gets him going on that side of everything. Tommaso Ciampa he does this whole bit where he talks to the title, or the title talks to him, and he goes like, you know what the title says? The title says it thinks that you're not tough enough, Velveteen Dream, but emphasizing his tough enough roots and everything to go along with that. Of course, Dream says, like, of course I'm tough enough to go along with it. It's kind of weird that Dream, even though he's not really acting babyfacious, but being the way that Tommaso Ciampa is such a heel, having Velveteen Dream around him kind of just by association makes him a babyface. Because the crowd is behind Velveteen Dream and everything. And you could tell that, you know, they just don't like Tommaso Ciampa. And he always does get booed and everything to go along with it. He doesn't play the cool heel to go along with everything. And so by association, Velveteen kind of becomes off as a babyface on this one. And then lo and behold, who interrupts? It's Nikki Cross. And they've been playing this off the entire time, that Nikki Cross knows who attacked Aleister Black. And she won't tell anybody. But she's going around and she's doing this little fun thing where she's like getting it up close in like the personal space on this one of like Velveteen Dream and Tommaso Ciampa, and they're just like, what do we do here? Both of them are kind of like, what do we do? And eventually Velveteen kind of just leaves. Tommaso gives like these like weird looks to her, and eventually it looks like Tommaso's about to say something, but Nikki Cross knocks the microphone out of his hands and then gets down to the microphone and is like, I know secrets. I know what you did. We're just waiting for people to also say, it's like, I know what you did last summer. Playing off of that as well. To go along with it, but she played that up a couple of times on this show. Matter of fact, she did it a little bit later. You had William Regal getting interviewed by people saying, it's like, he kind of wants to know what Nikki Cross knows, but she won't tell him. She won't tell anybody what's going on because she loves the chaos. I guess it's going to be an aspect of, I guess she tells Aleister Black or something like that. I think that's where this is leading to. But Cassius Ohno confronts him about a match, apparently, because he's calling all the newcomers, all the new indie talent coming in and everything, the shiny new toy, the shiny new plaything for them. And he's like, so where is he? And then he keeps making bro references, so he's making mention to Matt Riddle. So he wants a match against the new incomer and everything to go along with that. So he's not being too thrilled with everything either. He's coming off a little bit heelish to go along with it. Nikki Cross confronts him as well. It's like, I know what you did. Nikki Cross is an absolute treasure. I can see why if it was with everything, especially with what Sanity's been doing on SmackDown, by that I mean nothing. I'm glad that Nikki Cross is still in NXT at this point in time, because they're at least allowing her to do something. And this is absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So Keith Lee also had a match with Kona Reeves. I thought this was a pretty decent match. Kona Reeves looking pretty decent in this match as well. Keith Lee just continually showing everything he can do, and continually getting more impressed by what Keith Lee can do. I did not get to see a lot of his independent stuff, but I like what I'm seeing right now with everything. On that one, Keith Lee does go over in this match. I thought it was pretty good. And he went over with what he calls the Supernova, which is like a Death Valley Driver splash style move. Looks devastating. Looks very devastating. I like it. Then you had couple promo not a couple promo packages. You had a training promo package for Shayna Baszler for what she's going to do for Evolution to go up against Kairi Sane on that one. Which, oh yeah, to completely continually go over everything on that one. So, since we're talking about Evolution again. So, as of right now, for Evolution, we have a Raw Women's title match for Nikki Bella and Ronda Rousey. Then you have the SmackDown Women's title match. You have Charlotte going up against Becky, and what is going to, I would imagine, I think they did announce it as a last woman standing match. And you have Trish Stratus and Lita, instead of single one-on-one or 2 one-on-one matches, they're going to team up to go up against Alexa Bliss and Mickie James. Which they set that up on Monday Night Raw as well this week. They set up that particular tag match, and a pretty good promo segment, honestly. I liked what they did there. Mickie even made a reference, since they were in Chicago, that back to WrestleMania 22, is like saying nothing good ever happens in Chicago, right, Trish? Playing off reference to the WrestleMania 22 match, which I thought was pretty good on that one. And then you also have Kairi Sane going up against Shayna Baszler for the NXT Women's title. I think there's also going to be an NXT UK Women's title match as well. So that's going to make for 5 matches officially. Yes, 5 matches officially. So obviously there's going to be, I would imagine there's going to be more matches than just the 5 to go along with it. On those ones, but they did do a pretty good promo package for Shayna Baszler in her training regimen going into Evolution. Kairi Sane, short interview about her match with Shayna Baszler, thought was pretty good as well. You had an undisputed era and War Raiders promo on each other. I imagine we're going to get something with them going into War Games, whether it's a War Games style match or something to go along with it, I don't know. On that side of everything. And then, of course, the main event of the night, which was Adam Cole going up against Pete Dunne, going up against Ricochet for the North American Championship. And, oh boy, this was a great match. This was a great match on all sides. You know, it's kind of weird how you have that high-flying and grounded style and on all sides to go along with it for everybody in there. And it just worked very well together in this triple threat match. I thought they did a very good job on this one, doing a little bit where, you know, Ricochet and Pete Dunne team up briefly against Adam Cole. That doesn't really last long because they want to fight him just individually. So they end up fighting each other. So it does kind of become an every person for themselves style match. Just great work all around. This is a match to go out and watch. Ricochet picked up the victory after Pete Dunne was going for a cover after a bitter end, and then Ricochet does a springboard 450 into the ring to finish off Pete Dunne on that one and pick up the victory. I thought it was a really good match, extremely good match. It's one to go out and watch. And for the ending of this week, we have the Mae Young Classic as well. The Mae Young Classic, episode 5, or actually this was episode 6. Yeah, this was episode 6, because this ended the quarterfinals. Again, I thought was a really good show. Very strong showing on this one. You had Io Shirai going up against Zeuxis. In this one, Io Shirai does block a top rope Spanish fly. I thought that was very good. And honestly, just overall between the two of them, I thought it was good work as well. Io Shirai picks up the victory in what was a pretty good match. You had Deonna Purrazzo going up against Xia Li. Deonna Purrazzo picks up the victory with the Fujiwara armbar in this particular one, I believe. Yes. And what was also a very good match, Xia Li looked really good in this match. Really, really good. Fighting out of the Fujiwara armbar at one point. And also just showing the improvement that you were I guess you would imagine hoping to see improvement from her time last year where she had a first round match. It wasn't all that great, but in just a little over a year, she's picked this up really, really well. She had a good match in the first round where they were playing off of everything as well on there, and she looked really good in this one. I would imagine hopefully they do more with her in this particular one, in this particular sense. I very much enjoyed this match as well. I enjoyed most of the matches on this show. You had Tegan Nox going up against Nicole Matthews. Tegan Nox picked up the victory in this one. I thought this match was only a decent one. I was not that impressed in this match in general on this side. have liked matches with Tegan Nox in the past, which her former name in Independence was Nixon Newell on that one. I thought, though, I've enjoyed a lot of those. I did not necessarily enjoy this one all that much. I thought this was just a decent match with her and Nicole Matthews. Tegan Nox goes to the quarterfinals, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on when everything goes down. I did talk a little bit about it in the past, but I think the next match is where it actually happens, and I'm not fully looking forward to watching it, but we're going to go ahead and cover that one. I did cover it a little bit in the past ones. We'll cover it a little bit more with whenever that match actually happens with her and Rhea Ripley. And then you had Mia Yim going up against Caitlyn, and I thought this was also a very good match. These 3 out of these 4 matches were really good. I like these. Very enjoyable. Caitlyn looked good in this one. Mia Yim having her hand wrap, playing off of the whole chop she did to the ring post in the past episode with her match with Alicia Kay on that side. I liked that whole aspect of it. They played off of that. I liked how Caitlyn even played off of it and even went to work on the hand a little bit while Mia Yim was working over the knee and on that side of everything. And even to the point that she did do some kicks enough to hard enough to where she did put some bruises onto Caitlyn's leg to go along with it. With Mia Yim actually picking up the victory in the end, and what was a really good, like I said, a really good match on this side. And Mia goes over to the quarterfinals as well. So all in all, still enjoying the Mae Young Classic. I find it thoroughly enjoyable on that one, and going to continue on covering that side of everything to go along with it as well. That is basically everything I've got for this week for GodSaw's Turnbuckle on that side of everything. So we will continue monitoring, like how they say. I'm going to keep looking at what's going on with this whole situation as well. Not going to really talk about it too much anymore. On that side, I kind of said everything at the beginning of the show. For the terms of videos coming out this week, expect another thing from Rocket League this week. Expect a few other things. I'm going to be trying to do a few more particular videos as well throughout the week, and we're going to try to get those out there as well for you guys to watch and enjoy. Again, I hope you guys do enjoy the content coming out to you on the channel over here. And hopefully next week we will be talking about fun things, and only the fun things, like we intend to do with this particular podcast. So with that being said, everybody, for everybody who tuned in live, thank you guys for watching. For anybody tuning in later as well, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoy everything. Take care and have a great rest of your day.